I am living in an alternate universe, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Teshopko. This is a weird one, and I still have no explanation. I went over to my parents' house to fix their computer. They were trying to get their scanner working with Ubuntu Linux. No problem, I downloaded Sane and the drivers from Canon for their computer and installed them. While we were waiting for the updates to install, we started talking about physics and the many worlds theory, that there are an infinite number of parallel universes, with each one differing from another by a tiny change. My dad and I have always talked about physics and neat discoveries in quantum mechanics. I remember being in high school and talking with him at night about the stuff I was learning, and then throughout college as my understanding expanded. After our discussion, we tested their scanner to make sure it would work. It worked fine, the scanned image looked fine. But then I noticed that some other pictures were in the folder from the first time I set up their computer. They were mostly pictures of my kids from when they were little, playing at my parents' house. But then we came across a couple of pictures that stunned us. In one picture, there was a black dog begging my dad for a chip or a cookie or something. It's a picture I took of my daughter when she was sitting in a chair eating. I remember the day. I remember looking at this photo many times over the years, but I do not remember ever seeing a black dog. Neither my dad or I recognized the dog, so we called my mom. Before we could ask her anything, she looked at the picture and asked, "Oh, what a pretty dog. Whose dog was that?" Apparently, she didn't recognize it either. Weird. So we went through a couple of other pictures, and there is another one of this dog sitting on my parents' bed next to their cat, which we do remember and recognized. We still didn't recognize the dog, but what's important is that it was laying next to the cat. Their cat hated dogs, and it took a long time for the cat to warm up to a dog enough that she wouldn't run away when the dog approached. That means this dog must have been around a lot. But none of us recognized it or remembered ever seeing a dog like this in our neighborhood. My aunt, my dad's sister, lives next door to my parents, so we brought her over and asked her about the dog. She didn't remember ever seeing it before either. I have looked at these pictures 100 times. I know what is supposed to be in them, and this black dog is not supposed to be there. So either we really did have this dog in some parallel universe, and now we're living in that one somehow, or we're still living in the correct universe, but these pictures somehow came from a different one, or we really did have this dog for a while, but none of us can remember it. I don't give the last option much credibility since I can remember and list the names of every dog we ever owned, all the way up to the current dog that still lives there. This black dog has no name because I've never seen it before. I'm a pretty logical and rational guy who believes in the simplest possible explanations for what I see as objective reality, and I cannot come up with any explanation beyond shared dementia or something that can explain this. Where did I go? Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by That Lol Chick. This happened to me almost 5 years ago when I was 14. I'd like to preface this by saying I'm a perfectly healthy individual. No history of seizures or mental illness. Also, this has never happened to me again since. Take that as you will. As the years go by, I'm forgetting less and less, and my memory is adding things that didn't happen. So I'll paste a comment I wrote a couple of years ago about the experience. You don't have to believe it. Even I wouldn't believe it. But it happened, and I'm just trying to figure out what it was. When this happened, I was at home and I went to go to the bathroom. So a bit of background info. I used to be into lucid dreaming, and you have to constantly be doing these exercises to make sure you're awake. Basically, whenever I pass a door, I glance down at my hand and do a sort of reality check to make sure I'm not dreaming. If I was dreaming, my hand would appear strange, things like extra fingers or warped looking, etc. So as I'm about to enter my bathroom, I do just that. What happened next was, I don't know. All I know is that I wasn't in my house anymore. This all happened in a span of a couple of seconds, but it was long enough. At first I noticed my clothes. I found myself wearing a robe, with a loose tan long sleeve with fringes in it. It reminded me of something out of a Native American movie. My tiled floor was gone and I was standing in a dirt area. From the corner of my eye, I see some mud houses. I also saw a bonfire that was just put out a couple of feet away from that, a dark tan-skinned boy who wasn't wearing a shirt or shoes. He was looking my way, holding something. I didn't get a good enough look to see what it was. It was something red and roundish though, maybe a ball. Well, I was only there for a couple seconds. Everything felt slow. The sun was out and everything was bright and a gust of wind was blowing and the dirt picked up and it was almost suspended in the air. I remember that most vividly. It just felt slow. Then, as soon as I saw this, I was gone, standing back in front of my white bathroom door and wearing my regular clothes again, a sleeveless black and white striped tank top and orange short shorts. I didn't freak out. I just thought, cool. And that was it. This happened early afternoon, so I wasn't sleepy. My bathroom is also in a windowless dark hallway, so I couldn't have looked at a window. Besides, when I did my hand check, I was facing my closed bathroom door and the floor. Afterwards, I tried to recreate what I did to see if it would go back, but nothing else happened. In the end, I kind of just accepted it as something that just happened until I found this subreddit. Did I go back in time or something? Jumped a world? I feel dumb even mentioning those two options, but there's got to be some explanation of what happened. Feel free to ask me more questions, but again, that was the basic gist of it. The event itself was so short, those couple of seconds are all I know. Coworker printer email, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Nemo Corvus. I work in the Human Resources Office of a local university doing tech support. I was getting ready to go for lunch when S, our scheduling support person, tells me that M sent in a ticket about his printer not working. That was right after I completed a ticket for the same reason. I figured it was a duplicate work ticket and canceled it. So S emailed him about the request, only for him to reply that I never looked at it and that he needed his printer to work. So I went back down and asked him about it. He told me that the printer was working fine and that he never emailed except to schedule me that morning to look at it a few days ago. I showed him the email on my phone. He punched up Outlook on his computer and checked his sent box. There was no such email sent from his matching the one I showed him. I agreed to chalk it up to a glitch with Outlook and went to lunch. This is not the first glitch in reality I've experienced. I find the Henry Hicks building to be like the Overlook Hotel at times. I've received tickets to fix things from rooms that aren't even occupied, to setting up equipment for people who haven't worked at the university for years. Driving glitches, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Still a Woozer. I don't know for sure, but this started happening a few months ago. It happens randomly, and it's happened at least 3 times. I'll be driving, relatively close to my house. I'll look in my rearview mirror and see a car. I'll look back to the road, and then back up, and the car will be gone. The situations vary. One time there was no turn they could have turned because there was nowhere to turn. One time they would have to cut across 2 lanes of traffic and turned unnaturally fast. But they're just gone. I thought it was weird, but after discovering this, I think it may have been glitches. What do you guys think? Disappearing Wheelchair Lady, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Centrix. The other week, So and I were on a late night walk. We both work late night shifts, so we are nocturnal. We walk along a bike path on top of a flood wall that goes on for miles. You can only get on and off via ramps that happen once per mile. It's very hard to walk up, especially if the grass is covered in dew, because it's so steep. As soon as we walk up the ramp, I look to my right and see a silhouette of a person on a motorized wheelchair. I remember thinking, wow, that's really dumb. They need some kind of light or something so nobody runs into them. I can hear a whir of the electric motor and the wheels on the concrete and assume they're going to get past on the right. So, asks if anyone is behind us. I say, yeah, there's a wheelchair person coming right up behind us, kind of creepy. I no longer hear the whir of the motor, so I turn around and there's absolutely nothing there. I shine my flashlight literally everywhere. We were only turned around for 20 seconds at most, and that's not enough time to get out of sight. Completely impossible. Even if the person took a nosedive down the giant hill in a wheelchair and somehow made it into the thick foliage on either side, avoiding toppling over and remaining completely silent, it still would not have been enough time. I was 100% sure I saw and heard the wheelchair person, and so swear she heard it too. It's weird because I know for sure someone was there and it was impossible for them to go anywhere in that amount of time. Either it was a glitch or so, and I experienced a shared hallucination. Fast forward to the following night, we were on our nightly walk in a different place, and we actually see the wheelchair person. The noise is exactly the same, and so confirms it. Just looked like a normal cerebral palsy person riding on their wheelchair. I don't know what to think.